Something I need people to understand these days, since people are getting a little bit more woken up, is the system, as you've been taught, is actually backward from how it really is. Money is not how you get things. It's why you don't have things. It's the opposite of what you think. Think about it. If I'm selling a bunch of stuff and I need the money, let's say I've got some kind of eBay shop or selling on Facebook Marketplace, something like that. I'm selling stuff to make money. That's my livelihood. And I've got this big stock of things I'm having to sell. And some of it is some things that some people need, but they barely have the money or they don't have the money to get it. Now, let's say somehow or another I hit a bunch of money. I end up being a millionaire, however way that would ever happen. Well, I can just give them that stuff I was selling now. They don't have to spend the money. So you can see in that way, money, my need for money, is why they don't have those things. And there are plenty of people who are just greedy. They just like taking from people. They sell things when they could give it away. They would hold things when they could actually sell or give away. And one thing I want people to ask themselves, you don't think this system is screwed up? Ask yourself, how many financially well-off people work at fast food places? I don't know if I can name any by name. Think about fast food restaurants. How many well-off people work there? How many well-off financially people? Very well off. They're very secure. How many of them, and by that, let me explain what I mean by that. They could lose their job and they'd be fine. Like they could no longer work there, just quit and they're okay. Nobody does. So these places need the existence of poverty. People need to understand that. It's required. Poverty is required. Generational poverty is required for this system to function. It won't exist if it doesn't. People try to argue this. If a place pays you well enough for you to become independent, you'll quit. If you get well off enough, more than likely your children will not work at a place like that. They'll be able to hopefully jump into some sort of career, whatever their passion might be. Which is another thing these places do. They suppress passion. They destroy individuality. And that's the thing people like to really sell capitalism on, is individuality. No, nuh-uh. Are you serious? These factories full of people that do nothing, just go to a job and be another worker bee or worker ant, that's individuality. And they also sell it as, if you're getting money from the government, you're not independent. You're not independent if you're having to work a job. You're doing work for it, but you're dependent on them to give you money. They have to provide you some sort of labor to get the money, but you're dependent on the business. You're not independent, you're dependent. And I'm not judging people for that, because that's any poor person. That's me at the moment. So selling this system as what it's supposed to be is insanity. It just shows how indoctrinated people are. If there was any chance of actual success, these places would be shutting down like crazy. If the money they were paying was the amount that is a fair amount, the amount that they should be paying, nobody'd have to work there very long. If the system in general, and this includes school and just upbringing, culture, everything else, was what it should be, nobody would work at one of these jobs for very long, if at all. you'd see most restaurants shut down. You'd see most stores shut down. Not all of them, despite what a lot of enthusiastic capitalists will say. Not all of them. So it's some people's passion to run a store. It's some people's passion to cook, have a restaurant. And believe it or not, some people have the passion to be medical personnel, doctors, things like that, firefighters, etc. It's just, you see why we have so much synthetic art these days. Is because that's what it's really destroying. And, the medical system is exactly what they want it to be. There's not as many people able to go and be medical personnel that would like to be. It's actually their passion. And a lot of the people that get in it, it's not their passion. They're not good people. They're not in there because they want to help people. Pardon me. They're not in there because they want to help people. They're in there, and this is not, I'm not saying any particular ratio, but there's a lot of people in there that they're not in there for the love of it. Let's just put it that way. So it's destroying people going after jobs for passion and because it was what they feel in their heart. And it's creating debt. It's making just more, this is not a line I say too much. And it's, for the non-religious among you, don't get scared. But there's a line, it's a religious line, but the way I remember it is from a comedy show. This thing is a line from Mystery Science Theater. They're watching some nonsense. And one of them says, where does this fit into God's plan for us? And it's not really trying to be holy-roly about it. It just shows you, to me, it made me think of all the nonsense going around. If you think about it in terms of that, I mean, I'm sure you can make sort of a parallel argument, even with evolution and stuff like that, pure evolution. Big Bang or whatever. This can't be, we've evolved into going and working in a factory forever. Some sail crawled out of the ocean, and all these years evolved into this and evolved into that, and here we are flipping burgers. I don't think so. I'm sorry. And when you have intelligent design and non-intelligent design, coincidence, whatever you want to call it, the atheism, let's just put it that way, in full agreement, then you have some real truth. So I just like people to think about that. If you think this system is what it should be, and I should add this little point too, something that's infuriating. Speaking of work, Trump just, they sort of tried to catch him out of context, but even in context, it was terrible. Where he pretty much said that we don't want housing value to go down. We don't want the value of people's, he tried to word it a careful way, the value of people's homes to go down. We want to protect their investments. We want housing prices to go up. And said something to the effect of, just so people who haven't worked hard enough can buy a house. I can't say on here what my thought was when he said that as a poor person. The best defense you can give him in a case like that is he is horrifically out of touch with reality, with how things really are for poor people, for most people in the country. Because to say something like that, that's to imply, because I know what it takes to get a house, even a cheap one. I've been through it a number of times. I've signed papers on a house, on houses roughly 5 times. I mean, some of them got canceled afterwards because of this or that. I know one had termites. But I've been through this. I've paid on 3 different houses. And I know how much money and how much work you have to put in to get a house. Saying people haven't worked hard enough, they can't afford a house because they haven't worked hard enough, you go straight to hell. I mean ASAP. How anybody could listen to that man say that and still be enthusiastic about him. You have lost something in you. You have lost something. There is something dead in your soul. So anybody, and by the way, you got to make a certain amount per hour. So that's implying that anybody that makes less than a certain amount per hour isn't working hard enough. And then what's the further implication there? Those jobs should still exist, and they should have the right to pay them that much, but those people don't deserve a house. They should rent a house from someone who doesn't work at all and pay way more per month for the rest of their lives, where they can't even own a pet. Possibly can't even grow their own food because they can't even have a garden. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you're still supporting this sick bastard. And that's what he is. And I'm not saying the one before was better. I'm not. You have lost your mind if you're supporting him. Your soul is dead. You are not a Christian. You're not a smart person. You are a failure of a person. Your parents failed to raise you to be a decent human being. You're a walking failure. You're not pro-America. You're not Christian. You're not intelligent. And quite frankly, I don't think you're fit to be around children. You weren't raised right. I don't expect you're raising them right. So just a few things that people need to think about. You really need to get out of your cult mindset of this is what daddy tells me to think, and they're literally calling him daddy. I expect the Democrat cultists will be pitching something equivalent. They all had them dressed up like superheroes in the little memes and stuff they had going on. One would do it and you think it's really stupid, and they would make fun of it for being stupid, and they'd turn around and do the same thing. Because we're in a clown world. So this is some stuff y'all need to think about. Step back from it for a second. Think for yourself. Seriously. Think for yourself. The whole system's got to be redone. I don't know what's going to have to happen to do it, but the whole system's got to be rebooted. And yeah, businesses are going to close in that case because some of them shouldn't be open. Which shouldn't be a huge problem, because if the system was how it should be, there should be less need for money. That's something that surely some conservatives can get by. You try to pitch yourselves as being small government. Okay, well, let's get rid of a bunch of fees. Let's get rid of a bunch of taxes. Why are poor people being taxed at all? Why do we have fees for? I'll tell you what it is. It's to keep you working. It's to keep you in this system. It's to make sure you can't have money. It's another thing people need to think about. Look at the foreign policy. Look at the word sanction and see what that entails. Let's say the United States is sanctioning this or that country, and they have. Look what that entails. And then you look at how poor people are living in this country. How most people are living in this country. We're being sanctioned. You get to a certain age, and you're being sanctioned. You either do this, or they'll starve you to death. You think this is a free country? There's not a single place in this country that you can stand, including your own property. If you stand there long enough, doing nothing, At some point, an authority will show up and arrest you. That's the truth. Whether because of land taxes or loitering or something like that. And you can see these places up in West Virginia that's completely avoided. You just nothing there. Looks worse than something to be on The Walking Dead. No cops go by there. There's no cops driving circles around these places. Let them find out that somebody has snuck out there and started living in one of them houses. They'll show up. They absolutely will. So that's just a few things people need to think about. Stand back from whatever party you've decided that you've sold your soul to, and just reevaluate the whole system. That's some of the issue that people have, because they'll talk about one part of it, and it might not make a whole lot of sense, but that's connected to another part, and they don't want to think about that part. You're going to have to step back from all of it and think. The whole system's got to be redone. And honestly, as I was saying about the religious aspect, if you're a true Christian, that's supposed to be the majority religion in this country, or if you're an atheist that's got morals, and it seems like just as many, if not more of them, have morals than people claim religion, you can get a sense of agreement between the two. What's God's purpose for us? What's the purpose of us evolving into what we are now? And it's not this nonsense. Look up and down the city strip. Oh, this nonsense. It is nonsense. It's spam before the internet. That's what it is. It's just nonsense. So something to think about. I guess I'll call this this video system reboot or something like that, because that's what needs to happen. Step back from it. Think about the whole system. Stop being indoctrinated. The whole system's got to be redone.